What's up, guys? What's going on? We're going to go ahead and get started here in a few minutes. Go ahead and feel free to share the stream. We'll get things kicked off here very, very briefly. In the meantime, let me know where you're plugging in from, if there's anything specifically you want me to look at today, and we'll kick things off here in just a couple minutes. All right, guys. What's cooking? What's the word? What's the word? All right. Let's see. I think this is a little lower than I want it. It's a little better. Hola, hola. What's good, fam? Let me go ahead and I don't think I even said I was going to do a stream today. I think I just had it scheduled on here. So those of you that are on here, word, I see y'all. All right, let me go ahead and post this real quick. All right, cool. So, I mean, first day of the month, and we are off. We're off to a pretty good start, if I can say so myself. Let me know. Did you guys take any trades today? What y'all be doing? How'd it go for you guys? All right. In the meantime, running up. Just dropping the link here in a couple chats that I'm in. Send there. Perfect. Okay. Now let's go ahead and post over here. Time to spam everyone that knows me. What's up, Corey? What's good, man? We got US30 was fire. We got a great play. Off to a good start the second half of the year. Pretty stoked about it. Pretty stoked about it. I think starting off with a 5.75 risk reward. That's what we like. That's what we like right there. So can't complain. Starting off ahead. All right, what's up, Facu Maldonado? We got Kevin here, Daniel Rivera, Jesus, Michael Schomburg, Pierre. Much love, brother. I caught a NAS trade today. Nice. What did you take? Buys, sells? What you got going on? Saludos, Argentina. Me quedé conectado aquí en live of English. Perfecto. Ayer también hicimos el español. Nasty Nash in here. What's up, peoples? Martin. Third session of the day. You're on fire, bro. Yeah, you got the double New York sessions, English, Spanish, and then the live stream. It's a busy day Mondays. What's up, Will? The legend. All right, and then let me share on my Twitter. And I think that's about it for me. All right, cool. Puerto Rico. Never thought I'd see a day I would under leverage by accident. Oh, man. Honestly, sometimes the cost of under leveraging. No. I won't say that. The cost of over leveraging, I think, is consistently worse than the cost of under leveraging, but it can be frustrating. Also, I will say, to add on to frustrating things that go down as traders, when depending on how much margin, how much leverage you guys are working with, but when you are working with more regulated brokers or exchanges or whatever, you usually have you know, you don't have a ridiculous amount of leverage available to you. And so, yeah, running out of leverage, if you have a few positions open, like for example, for me, I have a position trade open right now on oil, on natural gas. I have a swing trade open right now on PayPal. And then, I take intraday stuff with indices. And so, yeah, depending on like what accounts you have, it's actually one of the worst things is running out of leverage, and like you just can't take a good trade. You're not over leveraged. It's just all the money, your purchasing power is just utilized, even if everything is running risk free. For the most part, you can still enter because you're usually floating, but it's obviously not nearly as much. But it is what it is. Good. I'd say they're good problems. Good problems more than anything. But cool. So, guys, welcome to today's sessions. I'm going to go over a few things that I like so far, just a couple key things. I will review briefly the setup for the day, and this is one that, is on point. I know some of you took this with me, so we're going to dive into this one. But let's get into it, yeah? Let's see here. What's this button do? Studio mode. What's this? Okay. Preview. Oh, am I about to get? I think I just unlocked a new mode here. As a streamer, I think I just unlocked some new skills. Let's see. Hold on. Did this work the way I thought it did? Yes, it did. Oh, wow. You guys are seeing true streaming growth live. I learned how to transition right now. All right. So, what's up, guys? Abus, buenas. Let's go, Argentina. Awesome. Can I recommend a broker? I won't do that. But definitely do some research. You will find the answers you're looking for if you do good enough research. So, okay, this is the setup that we took today. Now, I want to go over this because I think there's a lot of value in learning from things that work pretty consistently. And so, why did I take this setup? And let me clean this up. I was doing an example for somebody else. That Fibonacci that has nothing to do with this idea. So, the backstory behind this US30 play also directly connects with what was going on with NASDAQ. So in order to take this US30 trade, I did need to be very well familiar with what was going on with NAS. And so I may end up splitting and uploading this part of this stream separately, just so I think it's just a good case study. But this is a good example of how I use correlated assets to have a bit more precision, but also kind of like the final stamp on whether I'm going to take a trade or not, and whether, liquidity, imbalances, certain things, how they connect. So the way I look at the market is, for me, there's no way of trading. I don't trade an asset. I don't trade US30. I'm trading kind of like the market as a whole. So I look at everything here as kind of interrelated, interconnected. And so since everything is happening at the same time, the way I perceive the market is certain things need to happen, a certain amount of money. I got like dog hair floating around over here. Certain amounts of money and liquidations need to happen for other things to happen, etc. So with US30 and NASDAQ, these on a higher time frame generally are moving in the same direction. However, in between, like within the day, there are moments where they're moving in opposite directions, and there's moments when they're moving in the same direction. Now, this morning with New York Open, we got to experience a little bit of inverse correlation and then a bit of correlation. So the original ideas that I had in mind were, first, looking at a possible play on US30. Now, as you guys can see on the left side of the screen, US30 clears these highs. Retail sellers here. We see a nice spike up, a clean push to the upside. This goes above, it goes about almost 100 points, right? So it clears these highs, and then it works its way down here, right? So we see a quick move up and on the way down. So this is how Friday ends up playing out for US30. So we do have a little bit of movement here. And depending on what else is going on in the market, I may be looking for sells here. So with that being said, similar situation going on here with NAS. Actually, NAS mitigated an area we had talked about on here from like 10 days before that, irrelevant to this case. As we have New York open, so New York open 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Central, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, we see US30 go absolutely just bonkers, like so bullish, massive push up. This thing flies over 200 points like that, right? Super quick push up. Meanwhile, NASDAQ does the opposite. NASDAQ comes crashing down. And so I have a possible sell zone here, which would be mitigating or closing the buy positions from the past to possibly open up these big sells. At the same time, I have NAS working its way down. NAS has something that it could be targeting, which is this liquidity here. So when I see NASDAQ, so right now I have my eyes on US30 sells, but I want to see, will NASDAQ clear this liquidity, and where will that take US30? Because NASDAQ attacking these lows, it makes sense. This is where retail money's at. They should be targeting that. However, if they're moving in opposite directions, NASDAQ and US30, my question is, how intensely is NASDAQ's push down going to take US30? Is this going to have it go above these highs? Is it going to stop? And so as I'm watching and I'm observing NASDAQ's behavior, I start to see that NASDAQ goes all the way over here. And here's where I'm going to dive into I'll go into the 5-minute. So NASDAQ, this is what's happening real time. NASDAQ starts to clear the lows. We get down to here. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, NASDAQ is so far below liquidity, and it's been 20 minutes post New York open. All right. I think, NAS has been so much more bearish than US30 was bullish once it got below liquidity. At this moment, I'm thinking, well, if NASDAQ is done, if this is done clearing liquidity, we could see this want to come back, fill the imbalance it just made. This may not be a position where it's looking to stay down here, as we see happen all the time. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, I like my US30 sells. In case the market wants to go a little bit higher, I'll give myself a little bit of space. Plus, at this time, then now I realize, or I mark up and I go, okay, well, if we take entries here, what does our risk to reward look like? Considering we had US30 liquidity right here, to me, I'm like, all right, intraday exit, targeting liquidity within structure for almost a 6 risk reward all day. Let's get it. Even if it fills this imbalance, it's approaching a 4 risk reward. This was worth the money. My money being at risk is worth it in this scenario. So we take the setup. This all happened live, right, on the live stream this morning. Had a couple hundred people live. And I also actually sent it out on our Ideas app. Obviously this is just what I was going to do. You guys can do whatever you want. So between everybody, it should be a couple thousand people there. Played out pretty well and locked it in right here. I also did have possible buy scenarios here, but after taking all of that, I was okay. I was like, all right, you know what? Reviewing where we're at with NAS, I figured NAS was actually going to go bullish. Could have called it out. This is a different type of setup that I won't talk about today. But this is kind of reviewing US30. Obviously, there's a few different moving pieces. This is a bit more advanced than your typical just kind of like pattern trading. Doesn't make it better. Doesn't make it worse. It's just things that I've picked up over the years and ways in which it's giving me further confirmations to execute certain trades and to minimize stop losses, have a higher probability, a higher win rate. So yeah, I mean, with indices have been my bread and butter. So wanted to share this with you guys just as this case study. You guys can review this later on, whatever. But this is one of those examples of how I take moments where indices or any asset for that being, when they're inverse correlated, so when they're not moving nicely together, but when they're moving in opposite directions, how do I use different smart money concepts to validate or invalidate certain ideas? So yeah, this is saludos chicos, saludos Athens, what's up? For the NASDAQ data you shared earlier, yeah, so the market has kind of changed. So I'm gonna kick things off with indices now that we're already here, and we're gonna focus on, will there be any setups maybe for tomorrow, New York Open, considering that we have, considering we have a bit of news this week with the dollar. It should be fun. Thursday we have 4th of July, so dollar will be, probably won't do anything. But tomorrow we have JOLTS, job openings, Powell speaking right at New York Open. Powell's has been a little bit quiet, at least for me. Like, I feel like we haven't seen too much Powell lately, except for FOMC about 3 weeks ago. So this looks like it's going to be a Powell week where he speaks tomorrow. And then we also have the FOMC meeting minutes. Now, this will be a central banking conversation here. I think we could see some volatility tomorrow, backed by the job openings. And then Wednesday, 4 USD news events. Enough to be paying attention to, for sure. Now, these meeting minutes, this is not the press conference. This is not interest rates. So don't expect like hectic volatility. It should be good, but nothing, it shouldn't be anything too dangerous for the accounts. And then what I think is worth looking at is definitely Euro CPI. These flash estimates here, these are year over year. So as you can see here, Eurostat based this estimate on 13 Euro area member states that report early CPI data. So we have the flash and the final. This here could be fun. Could be fun. A couple weeks, we'll see the final for the Euro, but we'll see what it brings us. CPI for CHF. This, I don't really have anything lined up for CHF now. Maybe Wednesday, guys, take a look at this. Be a bit more ready. For those of you that are London session traders, you have a little bit of action this week. You have Euro, you have Franc, you have Pound. Should be a good week. New York session traders, I mean, you're going to have a blast all week. Thursday, just take the, you don't have to be really too dialed in the market. It's always great to take a step back too. So yeah, enjoy the time. For those of you not in the US, you probably don't care at all. So it's just another day in life for you, and you're like, well, where's the volatility here? But yeah, either way, guys, pretty good week. I think we're gonna have opportunities all week. You just gotta stay relatively diligent, and yeah. So hey, happy early birthday! I see you. Trade Travel Impact. What's up, guys? Okay, so let's kick things off with opportunities here with indices. Now, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I do want us to get a good take on what's happening overall here in the market. So, US30 is in an interesting place. A lot of volatility. Not a lot of decision making. So, we're losing momentum on both ends. Filling imbalances on both ends of the spectrum. I do see a little bit of leftover imbalance down here still. So there's, in my opinion, I think we could see US30 go down a bit more. work its way lower. Right now, though, we are basically in a squeeze since last Tuesday, just a extensive squeeze. So every time the market, we have some of these extremes, it's kind of losing a lot of steam. So with US30, not as conclusive on what it wants to do. It's really struggling to stay below 39,000. So these brief breaks below these lows, these are not to confirm bearish structure. This is just to clear out any sort of leftover retail buy positions, retail buy stops. That's kind of what that's for. Same thing with these moves up to these areas. Sellers are losing, retail sellers getting liquidated, and then as quick as we go up, we come back down. So we're kind of just sitting around this 39,150-ish range over and over and over again. So US30 pretty inconclusive. And of course, yeah, NFP on Friday. So what is the play? Well, we saw US30, I'm supposed to be 15. We saw US30 work its way to make lower lows. Briefly spent some time here, comes back up, comes back down. Every time, every time we're getting below 39,130-ish, it's having a hard time staying here. However, if we're looking at just Monday's structure, we're operating inside of this range. So US30 is sitting, in my opinion, kind of at the lower levels, right? We are at the discount areas of the market. So right now, in my opinion, it's not really anything that I would be looking to buy per se. I'm not saying any of that. But as you guys are probably noticing, we did see a bit of a strong move here. Let's see, let me hide this. So we do see a nice pump here, and I think this is where we can see some strong sells in the future. We saw the market work its way up before it comes crashing down, and this is again post New York Open. So seeing some sell opportunities right in this range could be pretty clutch. However, and I mentioned this already, before I make any swing at one asset, I want to be familiar with, okay, what's going on outside of this? Does NAS have maybe a better shot at sells, or is it worse? So right now, looking at how the market's moving, I was giving fib examples, so I have all of these fibs for really no reason. For me, fib is just, it's not an entry confirmation for me, really. You can use it like that. I don't, but I like the extensions. That's a good exit tool. But everyone, again, has different exits. There are different ways to exit the market. So right now, we're pretty low on the pullback right now. So on top of that, we're starting to kind of create a flag-like pattern here. So we're kind of, the market's starting to squeeze here. Things are getting interesting. So at some point, we'll probably break out of this. But US30 sitting all the way down here. Now, when we look at NASDAQ, and we're looking at just the overall structure here, NAS had a big push to the upside, and then this was not the point. The market coming up was merely meant to fill imbalances from the past, fill imbalances from over here, mitigate this buy, quickly loses all that momentum, comes crashing down. So now, I'm looking to sell that. All right, time to sell the positions, these buy positions up here to take down. Now, however, compared to US30, we kind of want to know like what's going to be the best bet for sells, because we have NAS right now sitting around this 38.2, while US30 is, let's say, I think well under this 38.2. So it's a lot more bearish. So will we see US30 get to this zone well after NAS gets into pretty textbook sell zones? So this is what I'm waiting for. Now I want to know, which one of these is going to be kind of the weaker bull, and then which one will be the stronger bear. So right now, NAS is a bit more bullish, at least as of the last, I don't know what time is it here. Give or take the last 12 hours, NAS has been a bit more bullish than US30. And then finally, you can use and compare with S&P 500. S&P 500, honestly, might be the play. We got the push to the downside here. This is sitting well over here. We had the Friday's dollar news that took S&P up here. So clears the highs, comes crashing down. The structure here has been bearish, right? Market's actually trading down here, staying down here. S&P might be the one that really approaches, gets briefly above 5,500 again, and then loses momentum and comes crashing down. Would make sense on a whole number, major quarterly levels. Yeah, I mean, we could see it. So might have a rare S&P 500 trade for me. I'm about it. S&P is rare, but if it happens, it happens. So I have my eyes peeled on the indices. It just might be S&P that gets to our key zone last, our sell zone last. And at this point, taking sells, let me zoom out a little bit, taking sells around here, 786, even closer to this 886. We've seen some pretty strong reversal numbers here before. Yeah, this could be it. And to give a bit more context with what's going on in the market here, there's liquidity down here too. So if I zoom out enough and we're looking at S&P 500 and we're looking at NASDAQ, we just might be entering distribution on a bigger scale here. So, for example, actually, I'll pull up the daily. I think the daily will make it a little bit easier to see. But the daily time frame, I mean, we've been bullish. Let me change the visibility here. There we go. So, obviously, NAS has been on a tear. All of June, just massively bullish. And then we lose a lot of steam here. We clear into 20K, loses momentum. We briefly visit above 20,000 again on Friday before crashing back down. So I think I'm looking at NAS, and I mean, NAS has left a lot of examples of imbalance behind. Just on the way up, there's definitely imbalance left behind. So could we see some rebalancing of June's price action? Definitely. And if we zoom out some more, is there even May's price action that we may dive into? Maybe. I don't think it's likely that we get down there, at least not anytime soon. But inside of these ranges, I think it's a possibility. Could we get back at least 50% of the way? Yeah, I think that's a possibility for NAS. Same thing with S&P. We have S&P here. It's been cooking all of June. S&P and NAS really similar in price action. So we saw this, right? There's imbalance here from the 5th of June. There's some imbalance from the 11th and the 12th. So there's definitely liquidity here. So we could be leaning into kind of a higher time frame sell-off. Maybe not all of July, but at least a decent amount could be bearish for indices here. Just taking a look at the bigger picture. And then US30, a little bit different. Some momentum maybe up here. But if everything else is going to drop, this will probably come down too. So, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of the take so far. I think we could be getting ready. S&P could be the one that ends up positioning us for some long-term sells. If that is going to be the case, then I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing where we can go. And I'm down to take this if I'm going to hold a swing position, which is very possible. Might hold this to that 50 level. This would be a possible target for me. Something like this. Let's see, somewhere over here. So something like this is a possibility. So the daily, this is going to be it. At the end of the day, what I end up executing is going to be more so based on price action. So it's going to be down to the wire. Probably tomorrow's New York session, maybe Wednesdays, and then see where we go from here. But yeah, that's kind of what I have going on with indices for now. So looking for a minimum intraday short. Looks like it could be S&P, maybe US30. And then if these do play out pretty well, we get nice reversals, you know, price does whatever it's got to do, then I could look at holding a swing or rare, which I don't swing trade indices almost ever, but this may be one of those exceptions, considering we're in the middle of, we're at peak, you know, we're at near all-time highs, we're getting higher time frame, traces of distribution. Just looks good. Just looks good. Cool. All right. Sick. So let's see. So yeah, you guys let me know. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. How do you see this? What's your take on the indice markets? What's the stock market overall looking like? Obviously, these won't influence everything. These are just indexes. These are just an average of certain things. So you guys let me know how you're looking at this. And then also in the chat, let me know what else do you want me to take a look at so that we can dive more into this. So what I will be looking at now is going to be metals. But if you guys have any specific things, just let me know. So let's look at gold and silver. Gold and silver, the go-tos. Can you see my point of view here? No. I don't know how I would be able to. You can see that as well, Will? Okay, cool. So, all right. So let's look at gold and let's look at silver. Gold has done a pretty good job at holding it down, honestly. We've seen this create a bit of liquidity here, and it hasn't quite dropped to the levels that spiked the market down. So you see here on Wednesday we had a huge sell-off before the market quickly ended up recovering a session later, and we've been, you know, trading a bit higher ever since. So in my opinion, I do think that we see a very healthy, a quick recovery after the market drops here. So this comes down and it's trading pretty high. Hold on. Gotta hydrate, man. Talk way too much and drinking not enough water. So, okay. So here's the structure. We're trading up here. There's a massive sell-off that I think we're going to get into. There's this clear imbalance down here as well. So I do think we could see buying positions. However, before I take a swing at a possible gold buy, I do want to and need to consider gold or silver play. So I would like to take this into this imbalance, maybe a little bit short of this previous structure, but trading it into this zone looks good to me. However, I got to look at silver and see, is silver relatively bullish? Is it already a bit more bearish in its structure? What's the play? And they're pretty similar. Like silver here, It's kind of just slowly been chopping up and down. Healthy price action, pulled back to these zones, to good imbalance fills, worked its way higher. So right now, in my opinion, I don't know. I think gold could be a play. I think it's going to be down to the wire. Like when the markets drop, whenever gold and silver decide to come down, I'm going to end up going with whatever metal is a bit more mellow on the drop. So whatever is kind of holding the drop, it's just a less intense drop. It's retracing less quickly. That's the one that's more likely to stay within the structure, and that allows me to use a just typical stop loss to take the trade. So it's going to be gold or silver. The difference here is that gold has just left a lot of imbalance that I think is by nature really easy to see it fill. Silver, it's not as, that imbalance is just not as potent. It's not as clear. We've already kind of traded through that. So maybe we get below this low here. Silver might be the play, honestly. And if that is the case, either way, I mean, we have quite a bit of imbalance left to get to be filled over here. There's liquidity. So even if that's the case, and we end up getting silver as the buy setup, let's say it's something like this, I would be looking for an extension, and not just to clear this liquidity, but to tackle on some more imbalance fills. So 3 risk reward. I like 3 risk reward plays. So again, gold and silver, they look like valid setups to me. Silver kind of looks like it already mitigated whatever it needed to. And yeah, so it's a little, here's what I would prefer. If I got to choose, if I had any power at all, I would want to see silver just be quicker to drop, and then have gold just kind of give me an easier trade, because gold just clearly hasn't closed off this big sell that happened on Wednesday, whereas silver already did that. Silver dropped, made higher highs, came back in, continuation, came back down, continuation. So, I mean, silver has already done its business. Gold hasn't. But that doesn't mean that this is going to be sustainable. This can just blow right through it. So it's up in the air. This is going to be based off of a market execution, based off of price action. Okay. All right, so that's gold. So we have gold, possible idea, silver, possible idea at the moment. Indices, we have looking for a sell with indices. The question is which one. Same thing. Buys on metals. The question is going to be which one. Now, considering we have Euro news, what do you guys think? Should I take a quick look at Euro pairs, see if I can spot something there, see if we can get some ideas for London session, or maybe they end up playing out during New York. So let's take a quick look, see if there's anything interesting around these parts of town. Here we go. I haven't taken a Euro anything trade in a bit. So let's zoom out a little bit. So Euro odd, it's doing its best. Almost getting above this high to start to shift momentum. Not quite there yet, but it does seem to be trying. It does seem to be trying quite a bit. We did have Euro odd sweep some of these lows here during Friday's New York session before rallying. Still having confirmed higher highs. We're kind of teetering in that moment, so I'm not going to get too ahead of myself there yet. From there, we have EuroCAD. EuroCAD just been pumping. We had on the 25th, I mean, wow, what an entry this would have been. We had it marked up actually from April. I definitely lost track of this. It was a very, very small zone. I mean, it was like a 15 pip zone here, and just tapped into it, gone. The risk reward on a trade like this, we're talking about 10 pip risk reward, and this thing's over 200. It's about 160 pips. That's a 16R there. Oof, I don't think I would have. Actually, that's it. This is so cool. We've caught the last three. So the low to the high. So the buy to the sell to the buy. Nice. I've taken none of these. I guess my alerts just don't go off on EuroCAD. Whatever. I don't have any entries now, though. So we'll kind of take a step back here. EuroCAD. I see you. Euro CHF, I took a swing at this, and then it ended up going a little bit lower than I expected, to just to come right back up. But Euro CHF, I mean, this is just ugly price action. I'm good with all that. Euro GBP. Okay, so Euro GBP has been a bit more clear now. We had lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Definitely this loses momentum. Kind of the first signs that we might be entering a reversal with Euro GBP, and then it goes and does that. Here was a 2R that we took here, I think the 21st of June. So, but on a bigger time frame, this is the setup. We have equal lows here. So let me draw this out for you guys. You had a bit of support building up, and then finally the market does clear some lows and quickly worked its way higher. Here you can see it's a little bit more easy to spot where the price sweeps, quick recovery, and balance definitely left behind. And then the market really struggled to make higher highs for, I think, a good week. Even when we got higher, quickly lost momentum. So I wasn't sure if we were going to end up staying bullish or if we were just going to keep coming down. But as of this week, price definitely is trading above, is holding above previous structure and price action. We are bullish on Euro GBP, and now I do think that we're just waiting on a nice pullback to clear these lows, get into the zone, and then see a continuation of buy positions. So I do like Euro GBP. Here, if we go and zoom out to the daily, if not the weekly, you can kind of see where we're at with the market as a whole. So we played off of here. We dropped all the way down to take care of price action over here. And then basically what we end up seeing to close out the month with Euro GBP is just a pretty large wick. So on the monthly, we have Euro GBP filling all of this imbalance to come and close relatively not bullish, but we make up quite a bit of this. So could we come back down? Yes. And then could we continue our way up from here? I also think so. So in my opinion, I think it's about to be Euro's time to start to take over again and dominate pound. So for the UK, they might start losing this this battle against the euro here. The pound's been on top for the last 18 months or so, but I think the euro is taking back over here pretty soon. So yeah, that's what I have right now with Euro GBP. This is a trade that I'm definitely interested in. And where exactly would I take this if we're going to narrow things down even further? I mean, we've seen some key levels of support right here, 0.8418, and another round of support right over here at 0.84125-ish. So I think I like my odds right around here. Okay, so 17 pips, give or take, and this may be a trade for the long run. There's quite a bit of liquidity as the market's been slowly but surely working its way down. So yeah, I mean, we could see quite a move. Quite a move here. Instead of going for some crazy position setups, though, Let's focus on kind of what the next targets would be. There is liquidity up here. This is a swing trade, and so could we see price target these highs right around entering that 85.25 range? Yes, I think so. So something like this looks clean. All right, Euro GBP. Can you give me feedback, bro, please? Sure, on what? What exactly do you need feedback on? I can't see anything that if you're going to share something, it wouldn't be possible for me to see. Okay, so Euro GBP, will this happen with this news event tonight? Probably not, but at some point. Euro GPY cruising, steady cruising. Yen is just getting buried. Euro JPY, I mean, it's for me, I don't know about you guys, but I've had a hard time getting into yen ideas. I feel like my entry model is just not the most suited for yen setups, at least as of lately. So yeah, I've just basically been out of the game there. Euro NZD. So we did see Euro dip down during Friday's New York session before the overall recovery. Maybe it gets into this zone. Still not the most ideal scenario here. Okay, so Euro NZD, for now, staying away. So Euro USD. Here's the real questions, huh? Ideally, I was thinking whether we get some buys, but gold and or silver look like they're better positioned. And based off of how New York Open went down, we saw a nice spike up before the market worked its way down. And then we ended up trading below here for basically the rest of the New York session. So could there be a possible mitigation play here? Could there be a sell-off? And that's going to depend on a couple things, because this spike up, this is a US dollar created news event. So all these other USD pairs, I dropped the markup. I don't get links, so I can't see them, but a GBP odd, I can take a look at that. So here's US dollar, right? So if Euro USD goes up, that means that the dollar went down and then the dollar goes up. So they move in opposite directions. So could there be a sell-off in this range? Maybe, but you got to keep in mind, what did the other pairs do? Are they more bearish? Do they have a better chance? Let's take a look. So as far as Euro goes, I'm not totally in love with price action so far. Maybe, we can take a look at something else, but right now we're cool. Euro GBP, and that might not even be a setup until way later. So you have GBP odd. Okay. Market has been bearish, so we were seeing lower lows, lower highs. Friday, price dips below, quickly comes back up. So we don't really last up here very long. 3 or 4 hours later, we're back up here. What I will say is this: there's a lot of liquidity right here, guys. There's some retail buyers in the game here. Okay, so buys, I wouldn't be taking. And then even sells, there's not like a big move, at least in my opinion. Nah, I'm just not really in love with it. GBP odd, for me, it looks like liquidity up here. Yeah, I don't know, not my favorite. I maybe some of you are looking to sell up here. I'm okay. I'm not a big fan. I'd rather just kind of have a bit more context, more information. There's tons of different plays. This is not one of them for me, at least. So, okay, tackled on Euro, a little bit of pound. And what I'm going to do now, just to lock things up here and to wrap things up, is we'll do a quick overview of the dollar. So for example, AUD USD right now is in an area that's, to me, was interesting, right? I was thinking, okay, maybe we take some buys with AUD USD, but what ends up happening here is that AUD USD is way more bearish than these other USD pairs, except for NZD USD. NZD USD already has been bearish overall, but AU, although it made higher highs, when compared to like EU, structure is just higher. It's not dropping as aggressively. So right now, instead of buying AUD USD, which is currently down here, right? We saw Friday dip down, or Thursday, whatever, do this move down, come back up. Well, if I look at gold, that basically did the same thing. I feel like gold has to drop more than AUD USD does. So the difference though is this. The difference is this. And you could take this. This is just my opinion. This is just how I trade. But these are just different things. This is Thursday's price action. Meanwhile, for gold, I'm looking at Wednesday's price action. So, I mean, yeah, maybe they play out, maybe they don't. I am going to stay out. Because if gold wants to come down, AU can come down with it easily, no problem. Where I'm interested now with the dollar pairs is GBP USD. GU during New York session today just goes crazy. It goes off, clears out tons of money, doing its thing, clearing out absurd amount of retail sells all over the place, gets to June 20th's price action, and then immediately comes right back down. So we get higher highs, higher lows. This higher high is so brief and basically irrelevant, and then it just tanks. So we get a shift in structure, and we also hold it down. So buy, sell ideas right here. I'm a big fan. Big fan. I like this. I like what we got going on here. If you look at where we're at with this, here's GU, and then here's the possible sell zone. You look at Euro USD, EU is not holding down. It's not down here. Look at GU, right? GU basically at the local lows. EU way higher. NZD USD, this is holding it down. I will definitely be transparent. NZD USD could be another possible play for sells. So right now, it's going to be between NZD USD for sells, in my opinion, or GBP USD. These two definitely looking pretty solid. AU just not as aggressive, not as volatile. So NZD USD way down here, pushing way further, and then we have a GU. So we'll just have to wait it out and see when either NZD USD or GU gets to these levels, but we could be seeing possible sells. So I like one of these two plays. I'm just going to wait it out. And then from there, going on the other side of things, obviously we've been trading against the dollar. Now looking at pairs that are pro USD, right? That we're trading alongside the dollar. USD CAD for news briefly gets below these lows, then continues. So, I mean, barely gets below, nothing too crazy. USD CHF, I think, is a better example. Actually, let me take a look at different broker feeds just so I'm not, okay, just kind of making sure that these things happened with other things. So USD CHF, I mean, you guys can see it. You guys can see very clearly. This is where the news event goes down. We see it drop. And then the market goes and works its way higher. So clears liquidity, fills imbalance, makes a higher high. Now we're trading up here. So could USD CHF be a buy position? Sure. It could, but will it? Time will tell. I'm not looking to trade USD CHF and GU and NZD USD because they're all basically the same trade. You're just trading the dollar news from this morning. It's all it is mitigating that USD news. That's all it would be. So I don't want to have multiple positions. It doesn't really make any sense. And then you finally have USD JPY, which also cleared the lows. Borderline makes liquidity again. Typical yen behavior. And then, yes, we get higher highs, and we are above here. So maybe USD JPY, but the moves are just very short, very, very tight, not as volatile. Like, UCAD way higher. GU, when it drops, big drops. So we kind of just stay mindful. And that's kind of it for now. So for now, that's the big thing. Natural gas doing a great job working its way down, really, really filling a lot of the imbalance. It was on parabolic movements. At some point, I was assuming we were going to get back under $2, back under $1.90 to continue on up. So this is the pullback right now that we're seeing. The only other thing is crypto. Crypto showing, in my opinion, pretty textbook reaccumulation. Looks good. The two zones that we were looking for Bitcoin buys the last few weeks, really just for the last month or so, we were either looking at imbalances holding down here or the liquidation of these lows into below 60K. With ETH gave us the signal that we were going to go way lower, and then we ended up getting this. I think I drew this out last week, at least if you're on live streams. I mean, we talked about this zone. And so now, let's see if we get another drop. Anything below 61K, good to go for me. So we're chilling. I think our next leg up should be going into 90 to 95. That's my take. And now we wait. Oil, anyone still holding oil? Do you think we test 60K again? I think so. I think we see 60 one last time, maybe like 65, and then, but I don't think there's a lot left. Noah, you're still holding oil? I figured you were too. So we've been in an oil buy for well over a month now. No, right around a month, a little under 4 weeks or so. So this bad boy has just been holding. We had a small buy position in here. So the swing is doing really well. I'm holding a swing position, and then my intraday, sometime, eventually, somewhere, we'll get back in here. But yeah, we nailed it. We caught the absolute lows, under 73. So good work. Still in oil. Gereisha. That's wild. You holding that for a minute. Good work, guys. I know y'all were able to do that one. So cool. We'll wrap it up there, guys. I mean, good stuff. We have some good takes with indices. We went over a little case study in the beginning. We have a couple options for sells. I think we can be leaning into some swing sells for indices, but doesn't really make sense because crypto I see bullish. I'll be responding to indices. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna take shorts. I'm gonna take shorts intraday for sure. Swings, we'll kind of see. We'll see how things unfold. Cryptos and stocks usually don't really go against each other too much, so we'll see how that goes. Either way, possible GU, NU shorts as well, and then a little Euro GBP action. But yeah, guys, tomorrow I do have an upload at 11 a.m. Central. So if you guys are subscribed on here, definitely feel free to get those get that alert or whatever, however that works. And then guys, big things before everybody goes. If you've ever wanted to learn with me, fill out the form. I'm going to be qualifying some people on the 4th of July, the 4th and the 5th of July. I will be sending you guys out personalized promotion. So we've never, ever done it at the price that you're going to get it. So if anybody has been wanting to learn alongside me, step by step, then you will have an exclusive opportunity to do that. If you're on this and some random someone that you know was like, hey, come check out this guy, then talk to them about it. But if you just came here and you know me directly, then yeah, hit me up, fill that form out, and I got you. So, so yeah. But anyways, guys, fill out the form if you do want to learn with me and kind of work on it. More of one-on-one or catch the live streams and be in the community and stuff like that. 4th and 5th of July, we're going to run a special promo. Never, ever hasn't been at the price that it's at. Otherwise, just keep showing up. Keep, it's in the description, the form too, by the way. But keep learning. There's a lot of amazing resources. But if you do want to, take it serious and do it together, then definitely feel free to reach out. But peace out, guys. Much love. Until